Okay, we are back and we are blocking in our values with a matte medium. It's so funny that, okay, so the last thing I said in my last video was talking about realism is kind of finding your middle tones and trying to emulate that because lighting, let's see if we can see it in the monitor here. So I actually do have kind of some bright highlights coming from the window. But we see people a lot indoors, and oftentimes when we're outdoors, we try to shade ourselves, and sometimes we're at the beach, and that's very high contrast, or when you have bright light. But normally, the levels of highlights, midtones, and shadows that you see people is kind of in the middle scale. It's not super light, it's not super dark, and you can see right now that what I did was I kind of created that neutral middle scale by blending out my grays. You're toning down your cadmium light, your local color. So when you can kind of do a good job of keeping them so close together with your middle scale, not the super bright whites or the super dark blacks, we can focus on that middle scale and really learn how to blend those and create gradients that flow from one to the other. You are going to get way closer to accomplishing realism than having a high contrast photo. So one thing I might suggest to you is, say you're working on a commission and the person that gives you their reference photo, a picture that they want you to do a painting of. Maybe they have it outdoors because, like, wow, outdoors, what perfect lighting. But outdoors can be extremely harsh unless it's a cloudy day or it's dawn or dusk. You've probably heard of like the sunset hour, the golden hour. Those are great times to shoot photographs, but usually people that are inexperienced with shooting photographs are going to shoot it at like high noon. And there's really bright or harsh shadows and bright highlights, and even if you do a perfect job at replicating that photo in a painting form for your customer, most of the time they're not going to be happy because their face looks a little bit harder and harsher than it is in real life. So if someone gives you a reference photo and it's high noon, really bright contrasting highlights, midtones, and shadows, ask them to look for one. Like, explain the process to them, explain why it's going to be harder for you to create something that they might like, as opposed to getting something where the lighting is a little bit like, you just want it well lit. You don't want, and well lit doesn't mean bright, it means like a kind of a combination between soft and maybe some highlights and shadows. Like a professional photographer would be great to give, if you could get a high resolution photo, or just suggest it if they wanted to take a reference photo to do it either on a cloudy day or at sunrise or sunset. And that will give you a better reference photo, because shooting outdoors can be great and it can give you the best lighting, better than any like professional lighting. But there are ifs, ands, and buts. I'm not going to do that joke. Anyhow, in our painting, I'm doing exactly what we were talking about, just trying to, because our skin is so flawless, the best way to create skin that looks that soft and young is to really focus on the middle of the scale. And if you look at my painting scale on the right side, they're very close to each other in value. At this point in time, my paint is starting to dry up, and this happens kind of often with certain types of paint as well. Like I noticed that my cadmiums dry pretty quickly. So cadmium red light and my cadmium orange, which I'm working with at the moment, they dry pretty quickly. So you can kind of expect to remix your paint a couple times during a long sit down session. Black, my carbon black doesn't dry fast at all. Actually, I don't even have to add any kind of medium to it to keep it from like slow drying. It stays pretty much wet. Even overnight, if I like pull it up, there's still wet paint underneath. I don't know why that is about carbon black. I'm sure someone out there would know the reasoning, and if you do, please share it with us. I'd be really interested. But same thing with my cobalt blue and my Windsor blue. They're very slow drying, just like the black. My yellow, I think, is similar to my reds. They dry pretty quickly. This is not something that you will know when you start painting portraits. This is something that you will learn. And so that's something, though, that you can take note of with your first painting session. Just take note about which paint dries more quickly than your other paints, and it will help you out with your future paintings as well, and your future painting sessions. Okay, we are wrapping up with this one at the moment, and I think I did a pretty good job with shaping my structure of her face. You can tell that I made a little bit of a mistake there, and that pull up was caused by my dry paint. Okay, I will see you in the next video.